Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Welcome into another Advanced Insight Series webinar hosted by TOA. I am Eric Huber, your technical editor here at TOA Electronics. And we have a special one for you guys today. We have two great minds coming in. We have Dan Shore, our head of engineering, and we also have Chuck Olson joining us from American Time, introducing our brand new collaboration with their EverAlert system, their in-cloud management software. That's the all-in-one GUI access, and the integrations it has with our current products. We're going to be talking about the SIP-based and IP-based Intercom products today, which we're super excited about. So we want to make sure you guys are aware of what we can offer, what American Time can offer, and then how these products collaborate, and what they can offer your end user at the end of the day, and how easy and simple this stuff is to use. I'm blown away at the capabilities of what EverAlert can give us in terms of user access and ease of setup, one-stop shop per se for anything, including message triggering, visual views, whatnot. It's pretty amazing. So we'll get into that deeper as time goes on. The two TOA lines we're going to be introducing or talking about are going to be the SP80 series, which is our SIP-based intercom, much more modern and sleek looking with that Android OS built into it. And also our N-8000 system, our reliable intercom series system that we've been running for quite some time now. At the very end of this, guys, hold off for questions. I know there's going to be a lot. So if you guys can hold those off to the end, we'd appreciate it. You can use the chat. You can also use the Q&A area within Zoom to ask those questions. And yeah, so let's get right into it. And welcome back, guys. We're very excited again about this collaboration with American Time. It just gives us, an easy way to give your customers what they need via one access point, right? Today, we'll be covering those two systems, like I mentioned, from TOA, the N-SP80 and the N-8000 intercom system. And Chuck is going to come in and go off on his EverAlert system and the in-cloud system as well. Actually, there is an interview I did with Chuck up on our YouTube. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's a great Q&A to get to know what this system is capable of on a very simple scale. And right away, you'll know if it's right for you and your customers. So definitely check it out. Maybe Shauna can link it in the chat and you guys can view that afterwards. All right, so let's introduce our stars for today that I'm going to turn the show over to in just a moment. First up, we have Dan Shore, our engineering manager. Dan, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine, and you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Dan.
Very good.
And we also have Chuck Olson, VP of Sales and Service at American Time. Chuck, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Looking forward to sharing about EverAlert.
Yeah, thanks for joining us again. We always appreciate it, definitely. All right, so we'll be digging into mainly Dan and Chuck will be going back and forth and talking about key features, the selling points of this product, the benefits of this product, what it can offer your customers and your end users, the versatility of each, how capable these units are. See a lot of flexibility with these two systems combined, which is quite amazing. The ease of setup with third-party systems, again, that flexibility, versatility, compatibility, all these things come into play. The software that we use to control each system, and more importantly, the EverAlert, how it's an all-in-one type access point. And Chuck, towards the end of this conversation, will give us a formal introduction of the partnership we have with American Time and how that TOA collaboration started up. All right, Dan, let's get to you first. Dan, this is going to be a loaded question. Apologies in advance. Can you give us a bit of background on SIP versus IP? So this is our N-SP80 system versus our N-8000 system, as well as key features, benefits, and functionality of each series and where they differ.
All right. Well, I'll try and do that. Let's get everything in about 90 seconds. That ought to be about right. Perfect. All right. So IP audio and video is possible a number of different ways. The most common way for security and intercom applications these days is use of Session Initiation Protocol, SIP, which allows us to do VoIP telephone systems. So if you have a Cisco VoIP telephone system or a Mitel telephone system, you're using SIP. So TOA has a number of ways to communicate over SIP, and we are expanding our lineup. You'll be seeing some very interesting products from us in the near future. The N-SP80 system is something that we are pushing as a SIP system, but like all SIP systems, if you want to, you can do a peer-to-peer setup by just assigning IP addresses instead of having a SIP server direct calls or pages on this. So I'll share a picture here on my screen. And this is our N-SP80 system. I apologize for the size, but as Eric mentioned, we have a master station with a color display that is touch enabled. It's based on the Android operating system, so it's very familiar, very flexible, very customizable for our customers. This master station can communicate through a video door station, the N-SP80 VS1, or if you just need audio, it can communicate through the SIP audio door station, the N-SP80 AS1. So this system by itself allows you to, in a small to medium-sized system, control entryways, door locks. There are relay outputs on the door stations, so you can do a local camera call up, or you can do a door unlock feature with that, which is controllable from the multimedia station. Now, this system integrates perfectly well into our larger scale N-8000 system. Now, when I say larger scale, I mean the N-SP80 can be scaled to huge size, as any telephone system can. But the N-8000 system is one of our engineered systems that allows us to provide specific solutions for our customers. I'll just move this over here. And I think quite a few of you are familiar with this system. We are able to take the N-8000 system and provide SIP integration with it through our SIP gateway, which allows you to use these N-SP80 systems, including the master stations, to communicate and control the system. The N-8000 system, as you may be aware, is widely in use in a number of different applications. For example, we have direct network communication via LAN and WAN. We have a large brokerage firm that uses this for security across the United States. Other systems that you can use this for are schools. And as you see on the right, we have a typical school system with a possible addition of our VM3000, which we'll discuss later. But this school security lockdown function has been greatly improved and greatly expanded with the addition of the EverAlert system. And we'll go into that a little bit later with Chuck. But the integration of these two systems is easily done and is extremely flexible, not only for schools, but for banks, factories, anywhere you need visual indication, scheduled time tones, that kind of situation, and distribution of audio over the system. So parking garages, we even have applications where there are ATMs. The size of this system is 3,072 end stations or stations in a system. So it can be expanded to a very large size. How's that, Eric?
Beautiful, man. Actually, you beat me to 2 points that I was going to mention in 2 additional questions. But simplicity, easy to use, how these things talk to each other, how simple it is. Before we bring Chuck in, later on, let's talk about how versatile and, how easy it is to integrate our stuff with their stuff.
Sure. As you'll see in a bit, the N-8000 system has an IP protocol. In this case, with the EverAlert system, we're primarily using a contact closure interface to trigger and to receive triggers from the EverAlert system. Also, we can receive audio from the EverAlert system. There is audio built into that system, alerts. So we have the ability to do, in emergency situations, you can broadcast emergency override everywhere, emergency intruder, follow protocol 1, and all of the visual displays will strobe and the messages will flash across. So very easy to integrate. And you'll see when Chuck introduces the software for this, the portal for this, it's extremely easy to set up. It's very user-friendly.
Yeah, when Chuck showed it to me, I was blown away on how easy it was to use, which is just fantastic. Dan, another question for you, because we answered a lot there. Why are systems like this so appealing in school design projects going forward?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah, why are systems like this appealing in school project designs? Yeah.
Well, over the last couple of years, TOA has a very robust intercom solution, but most of the RFPs that are on the street right now, you'll see there's a combination of intercom along with a mass notification system and a clock system in the same RFP. Our ability to access the mass notification capabilities of the EverAlert system and our teamwork with EverAlert allows our dealers to provide a full solution to these newer RFPs that require district-wide solutions that were maybe not so easy to put together with the standard N-8000 package.
So scale plays a big part.
Absolutely. Scale, ease of integration, expandability is also very, very easy with the EverAlert system. An example, if you want to use our intercom clock system with a school-wide system, we have limitations on the N-8000 AF of 16 schedules and 64 events per schedule, which may not be enough for a large district. The EverAlert frees us from that restriction and allows us to do virtually any size system.
Exactly. Good point, Dan. All right, without further ado, before I bring Chuck in, Dan mentioned great points where there are some limitations with us when it comes to scalability. There also are some limitations with us when it comes to visual, the actual visual aspect of what American Time can bring to this collaboration. And,
absolutely, we have no visual component.
We are an audio company. And Chuck's going to come in and let us know, what this system's about. So Chuck, why don't we bring you in? Why don't you just introduce yourself briefly and just give us a brief explanation of American Time and the EverAlert system?
Yeah, thanks, Eric. American Time has been providing clock systems for schools for a number of years. We've been in business just slightly under 40 years. And so all of us who sat through a classroom and stared at that analog clock on the wall, American Time was very likely one of those clock systems. And so a couple of years back, we looked at that real estate that was dedicated to a clock in the classroom and said, well, what could we do with that real estate instead of just generating a point solution? What could we do with it? And we came up with the EverAlert system. And the real power of the EverAlert, it's no longer a single point solution. It's a multifaceted product, which is really a platform to launch off of. And, you know, in that classroom now, we can put up a 22-inch display and brand it for the school and be able to put some messaging in there and give them clocks any way that they want. And so being a clock company first, we have to certainly provide a synchronized time throughout all the classrooms. And so that's what we do with the EverAlert system is first of all, we provide synchronized time, and it's real easy with the EverAlert system in that if you wanted to change that layout, instead of having an analog clock, we could certainly change it with just a couple of mouse clicks in the portal here and change that to a digital clock. So a lot of times you'll hear discussions in schools where, well, should we still be teaching big hand, little hand? Well, for the younger kids, we may still want to do that. So on a per classroom basis, we can put the EverAlert into an analog clock, and then maybe for the older kids do digital. So we kind of take that debate off the table very easily. For those situations where you may want a larger format display for a lunchroom or an entryway or library, we have the ability to display it on a large screen display like you see behind me right now. So that's what we call the dynamic view. That dynamic view product is actually has two personalities. One is it can be a large format display, set-top box with an HDMI output. We can drive anything that has an HDMI input and make it an EverAlert display. But in the case of with TOA, we sometimes use it as a programmable tone generator, and we can upload any MP3 file that you could think of and play that tone over your guys's intercom systems. And so, and it all comes together with the scheduler that we have. So that's kind of the power of the dynamic view, is its ability to have a kind of a dual personality. But on the display, you can see we display time, we display weather, and we can also display messages, whether those messages are scheduled. It's really nice to be able to have a morning announcement or COVID reminders or whatever they are, but we can individually address any display as well. So if a parent comes to pick up Jimmy, we can send a quick little message that says, please send Jimmy to the office. And I can do that to any one display or a group of displays. In this case, I'm just going to send it to that one display and put a little doorbell chime on it or whatever. And when I send that to it, now the teacher doesn't have to go answer the phone or get disrupted from a one-on-one with a student. The display dings, that message shows up. She looks at little Jimmy and he's off to the office. So it makes it very convenient for the teachers as well as the front office personnel. All they have to do is type in that message and tell them what display it goes to. So it's pretty easy that way. And then because this is a daily use tool, the teachers and the students and employees become very comfortable with the fact that this tool is where they go for information. And one of the real powerful aspects of the EverAlert system is its ability to display emergency communications. In the case of a lockdown or something like that, we can put the display with just a touch of a button, put the display in lockdown and play a pre-recorded MP3 message if necessary. And these alarms are completely customizable by the user. So you can have a lockdown, fire, shelter in place, medical alert, anything that you can imagine can be done on the EverAlert system. And then the third part of it is the actual how we interface into the system like yours. We have an EverAlert integrator which has input channels. So from your system, you can trigger ours to create those alarms and trigger them automatically from your system if that's a requirement. So the EverAlert system has been very, very well received in the school environment, but it's also found customers in distribution centers, manufacturing facilities, places where they want to get the information out about weather alerts. We're tied into NOAA, so we can give weather alerts based off of tornado watches, tornado warnings, flood alerts, anything that NOAA can issue, we can issue those alerts over the display on the EverAlert system. And then the last thing I just wanted to maybe bring up and show real quick is what brings it all together is the ability to schedule these bell tones or such. And we have, I believe, one of the best scheduling tools on the market. It's very simple. All I do is click on what I want to program. I select what schedule I want to use, and I just apply it. If there's one thing I want to look at, I can just click on that schedule and I can get all the details of that. If I want to go in and change a bell schedule, I just select that event, and now I'm right into that event. And it's basically whatever you want to do, you click on it and it takes you right to where you want to be. So it makes it very easy for the office administration. Don't have to get the principal involved, don't have to get IT involved. They can do it all from what we call our portal, which is our in-cloud portal. So I know I've taken probably too much time, but I'll turn it back to you, Eric, and go from there.
Thank you, Chuck. All good stuff. Yeah, a couple key points I heard there were how flexible the unit is in terms of customizing it, the ease of use, actually the interface itself being extremely simple, and the speed that you could make a change and then spit it out in real time. I mean, that's just fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of the systems that we see in schools today require that they get IT involved in order to put up content or whatever. And we just felt that was contrary to what we wanted. We wanted it to be as simple for the front office personnel. If that parent comes to pick up their child, we wanted them to have a very easy way to put a message up on the display. And if an alarm happens in those intense situations, the last thing you want to do is have to log onto a system that maybe you haven't logged onto for a while. We want to do it with just a touch of a button, turn those displays into a lockdown so that the office personnel themselves can protect themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's supposed to be. That makes total sense. And it's amazing to see it in practice too, when you're firing off all these things and it's happening in front of your eyes. It's just great. It's very accessible. So fantastic.
If I could interject.
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, Dan.
One of the main parts of this is that this software doesn't reside in the local environment. This is in the cloud and easily controlled by a district-wide control or group of schools control or anything else that way. It's, for example, our system requires interaction with proprietary software to be able to set everything up. And once things are set up by American time, and if you go with a system through us, those parameters will be preset by American time with your information, all your graphics, all of that. But everything sits in one location in the cloud. It's extremely robust. It's extremely safe. The network security is great on this. So your IT department is not going to have a problem with that.
Yeah, Dan, that's a good point. You know, one of the things that happens a lot is, especially when you're dealing with school bells or something like that, the principal will at the last minute say, "Oh, we're doing testing today. We don't want to have the bells go off." Well, that means someone's got to come in, go to that facility, shut the bells off for that day, and then remember to turn them on the next day. Well, with the in-cloud in our EverAlert system, from any web browser, anywhere, anytime, you can go onto that scheduler and hit the no bells and turn the bells off, and they'll automatically program themselves to come back on at midnight. So if you're someone who deals with that, you can do it from home when without ever having to ever go on site.
Yeah, excellent point, Chuck. Excellent point, Dan. It's completely global, remote maintenance. I mean, being able to do anything from anywhere in the world is just astounding, and that's where it should be at. So I'm glad. I'm very excited, Chuck, to continue this collaboration. I'm sure Dan is. We as a company always like to see innovative ideas, and if we can work with you, then let's do it, and let's make it easier, for everybody involved. So excellent stuff. Dan, going back to you real quick. Any other scenarios you can think of? I know Chuck mentioned a lot. You also mentioned a lot where you see integration with the EverAlert system and maybe a different product line from TOA, or maybe a different scenario, perhaps?
Sure. For example, in a mass notification system, where you're required to have audio intelligibility in areas that may not be possible to have audio intelligibility, pretty much anything over 95 dB dBA as background or ambient noises, you're not going to be able to provide audible. So we can provide visual notification with explicit instructions, not just a strobe, but what plan, what's going on. That is very valuable, and that can be used along with our VM3000 system to use to provide mass notification system that's also tied into a fire alarm panel or not. But again, it's the VM3000 has the ability to tie in and control, be the system controller for the emergency audio system. It is a control unit. So with that control, again, we're using a contact closure inputs and outputs to control the EverAlert system in that situation.
Excellent, excellent. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Chuck, for attending. Again, we're looking forward to it. Continue working with you. It's been a pleasure already. We appreciate everything you do.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, man. And for the audience, if you guys can remember, based on what we've seen, it's such a simple system, centralized user interface. The speed of it is astounding. The visual representation you get that we can't deliver here at TOA, but American Time can, and the compatibility is and the versatility it has with all the products in our lineup is just amazing. Also, guys, coming up next month, we have our A800D series, which is also an IP-based unit, a mixer amplifier that you can also remote into from anywhere in the world via LAN access. So stay tuned for that. We're going to send invites for all you guys for coming. Let's get into questions. Do you guys have any questions? Let's see. Let's take a look. We have one question for Mr. Olson, and this is a Latin American question. Essentially, the question, Chuck, is are you guys in Latin America, more importantly, Costa Rica?
Currently, we're not. Part of the restrictions are just the hardware, getting all the certifications and such, and then developing language support for additional countries is another issue. But we do have language support for French and English now for the Canadian market, but we haven't done Spanish or anything for Latin America yet.
Speaking of areas, I think it's important to mention that you can buy the EverAlert system through your TOA dealer, which is one of the reasons we're having this webinar.
Absolutely.
And we hope that it will be used with our N-8000 system and our VM3000 system. So if you have questions about how to purchase, you can certainly contact your TOA dealer on this.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think
guys.
that's one of the-
Yeah.
excuse me. I was just gonna say that's one of the things about this partnership that is really cool, is that we do something that is very complementary to what you do, and you do something that's very complementary to us. We don't have the capabilities to do the audio side of it like TOA does. And so the combination of the two is really what makes it really strong, you know, is the ability to combine the excellent audio capabilities that you guys have with your intercoms and such, and then for us to be able to provide the visual side as well as the clocking system, as Dan specified. You know, a lot of the requests for school districts and such are for clocks, visual notification, as well as an intercom system, and the combination of us will allow us to address all those points.
Absolutely. Agreed. Yeah. I mean, they both work very well. We both are good at one thing, and why not bring those together and make the best thing out of it, right? And that's what we're doing here currently. So awesome. Well said, Chuck. We do have one more question. Hang on, guys. This is from Rob Leege. This goes to Dan. Dan just spoke of this, but we do not have any additional info on how our dealers can purchase through TOA. Dan, your thoughts?
If it's not already, it'll be up on your price list shortly. Contact your regional manager.
There you go, Rob. And let me just make sure we're not missing. Yeah, we love that. And the first question was from Carlos, I believe, more from Latin America. Thank you, Carlos, for that. We appreciate it. Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, obviously reach out to Dan or I. If you can't get in touch with Chuck, we can always forward that question to American Time, and we'll make sure you guys get the right support for that. But we're excited. Dan's excited. Chuck's excited. This is a whole new world for us, you know, in a sense, with the visual aspect and the centralized interface and the cloud, all very modernized things. And that's the direction we're going in. So again, if you guys have any questions, let us know. Thanks for being here. Next month, we have the A800D series, our new digital mixer amplifier, up to 480 watts of power, IP accessible, maintenance from anywhere in the world, you name it, we have it. So we'll see you guys there next month. Have a great rest of your April, and hopefully it warms up wherever you guys are at, and we'll see you next time. Take care.